Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. Topping our newscast tonight, the executive and legislative branches have begun the fight over fiscal year 2015's budget, and government workers are caught in the middle. They could face unpaid workdays and increased insurance costs with the proposed budget. News 2's Erica Parsons has more on the spending plans breakdown.
Senators are weeding through 697 pages of the fiscal year 2015 budget proposed by the governor's office. The total proposal is $1.1 billion, and the general fund is $709 million of that. Roughly $72 million makes up the other appropriated funds, while $162 million is expected to come from federal funds. About $135 million represents non-government funds, and the other $63 million comes from non-appropriated funds. The $709 million operating budget proposed by the governor's office includes spending reductions of $11 million. The chief executive proposed a 4% cut across the board for all agencies and departments from last year's allotment and other cost-cutting measures. The operating budget is further broken down into $245 million in personnel services, $98 million in fringe benefits, $12 million in supplies, $186 million in other services and charges, $24 million in utilities, roughly $2 million in capital outlays, and $154 million in miscellaneous expenses. Those miscellaneous expenses include about $54 million combined for both the legislative and judicial branches, which the governor can't submit budgets for. It also includes nearly $30 million for UVI, $22 million for waste management, $23 million for St. Thomas's Hospital, and $20 million for St. Croix Hospital, as well as just under $2 million for the Board of Education and $1.4 million each for the Inspector General and election system. The proposed budget is short $57 million and requires that the Senate bridge that gap.
Because ultimately, only the Senate can deal with it. They're in charge of revenues.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Cost-cutting measures call for a number of initiatives, including 6 furlough days and an increased cost share for health insurance premium for government workers. On some sad news, WAPA is mourning the loss of one of its former executive directors. On Wednesday, WAPA's chief executive, Hugo Hodge, extended condolences to the family of Alberto Bruno Vega. He served as the authority's director from 1989 to 1995, and again in 2002 until 2007. WAPA officials say Bruno Vega was instrumental in helping WAPA recover from the devastating effects of Hurricane Hugo. When he left in '95, he was credited with changing the efficiency and reliability of the agency's generating and transmission and distribution systems. He returned in 2002 to an uphill battle of high fuel prices, and he initiated WAPA's first efforts to find alternative energy sources to lower customer rates. Hodge said Bruno Vega was greatly loved by his WAPA family, and his accomplishments at the authority will be remembered forever. In other news, police on St. Thomas are investigating a first-degree assault that occurred in the Altona and Welgunst area on June 17th. They say a 21-year-old male was injured in his upper body by gunshots. According to the medical staff, the victim had at least 3 wounds on his face and both upper arms. Police are seeking suspects. Here's a VIPD with more.
June 17th at about 10:20 p.m., police were on patrol in the Contant Knolls area when they heard gunshots. Officers traveled to the area and saw a vehicle that was over the embankment. Upon further inspection, officers saw what appeared to be bloodstains in and around the vehicle, as well as damage to the windshield and the body of the vehicle. Officers also observed bullet shell casings on the ground. However, no one was in the vehicle. At the same time, another police officer observed a vehicle with hazard lights flashing, traveling at a high rate of speed near the Schneider Regional Medical Center. The officer also went to the hospital, and he spoke to a male who said that he just took a gunshot victim to the hospital. The male told police that he was in his home when he heard a noise. He went outside, saw the wounded victim, and took him to the hospital for treatment. According to the medical staff, the victim had at least 3 wounds from gunfire on his face and both upper arms. And
Channel 2 to keep you updated. Now, as we reported, a crime forum was hosted by the Smith Bay Community Action Foundation and presented by the team of Project Safe Neighborhoods, VI, in collaboration with HIDA and their Crime Prevention Community Outreach Initiative, Operation Amethyst, working towards a violent-free community, VIPD, My Brother's Workshop, Family Resource Center, the U.S. Attorney's Office, VI Housing Authority, Crime Stoppers, and the VIPD St. Thomas St. John Weed and Seed Program. Now, that forum was held to bring awareness and education on crime prevention, safety, and solutions to the community as a whole. And many who turned out at the event say it starts at the home and with the youth.
There are many concerns that need to be addressed. We don't want to just have the blame put on the police or put on leadership and so on. We want to be a part of not only talking about what's going on, but also be a part of the action that's going to take place to make it a successful and a safe neighborhood for all here in the Virgin Islands. And so the concerns regarding crime, the concerns regarding drugs and other things that may be taking place here, it's not going to happen just by complaining to the police and expecting them to do the job. We as a community have to be a part of it.
Now, even the smallest bit of information as we look at Crime Stoppers may be just what law enforcement needs to solve crimes, and that's a reminder from Crime Stoppers. It has proven successful, and police hope you can help as they continue to investigate some of the following cases. On St. Croix, police say burglaries increase as schools close for the summer and as families go off-island for their vacations. Hardworking residents may become victims of burglaries and break-ins, and they say to report any suspicious activity. Now, some examples of when to call 911 according to Crime Stoppers: when someone knocks on your door and has no valid reason for being in the area, note their appearance, then call 911. When you see a suspicious person in front of a house using their cell phone, assume that the person is the lookout for a burglary in process, then call 911. When you see a slow-driving suspicious car in your neighborhood with the driver looking around, Crime Stoppers say to pay attention to the vehicle, type, color, make, and description of the occupants, then call 911. Lastly, they say report what you know about perpetrators who have committed burglaries and the people or businesses who are buying the stolen goods. Now, looking over to St. Thomas on Tuesday, June 10th at 2:30 a.m., a female caught a ride from an unknown black male in an area unknown to her. According to police reports, the woman was taken to a beach where she was raped by the driver. The victim stated no weapon was used. Over on St. John, police responded to a report of shots fired around 5:15 p.m. on June 9th. This incident took place in the Coral Bay area of Cases by the Sea and Island Blues. A male was shot and transported to the clinic. Please tell police what you know about this incident by calling 1-800-222-TIPS. You can also text USVI plus your message to crimes at 274-637. Remember, if your tip leads to an arrest or the recovery of stolen property, illegal drugs, or weapons, you will receive a cash reward. Turning our attention overseas, President Obama and top Republican and Democratic lawmakers sat down at the White House to discuss U.S. option in Iraq. The Iraqi government is asking for U.S. air power to help turn back a violent insurgency. Craig Boswell reports from the White House.
Top congressional leaders met with President Obama in the Oval Office as he nears a decision on how to help Iraq.
The only thing the president has ruled out, and I want to be clear here, is sending U.S. troops back into combat in Iraq.
Iraq's Shiite-led government has asked for U.S. airstrikes to support Iraqi forces battling Sunni militants. Some Republicans are calling for immediate action.
Send some air power. Send some air power with targets we can identify.
While airstrikes have not been ruled out, sources say the president is leaning towards sending a limited number of special forces to help train their Iraqi counterparts. The U.S. is now flying round-the-clock surveillance missions over Iraq using manned and unmanned aircraft from the USS George H.W. Bush. The White House says whatever action the president takes, Iraq must enact major political reforms. U.S. lawmakers from both parties doubt the current Iraqi government can do that.
The Maliki government, candidly, has got to go if you want any reconciliation.
Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki says his forces are getting the upper hand against the militants, but they're holding territory less than an hour from Baghdad. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
And keeping our eye on the economy, Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen downplayed concerns about rising inflation After the Fed cut its forecast for U.S. growth this year, the Fed wrapped up a two-day policy meeting Wednesday. The central bank expressed confidence that the economic recovery is still on track, sending the markets up. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 98, Nasdaq 25, S&P 14. Coming up on News 2, if you're trying to figure out what you can do this summer, we've got you covered. Tune in on our newscast for summer fun. We'll share some ideas to get rid of any summertime blues. How about a Well, here is something to mark on your calendar for the summer. Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. is, for the 6th consecutive year, encouraging young students across the territory to read as many books as they can over their summer vacations. The 6th Governor's Summer Reading Challenge program will kick off on June 21st, 2014 and continue through August 15, 2014. This year's challenge is open to all of the territory's public, private, and parochial students between kindergarten and 8th grade. Reading Challenge participants who keep track of their reading and complete 5 or more books will be invited to a fun day with the governor at the end of the summer to recognize their achievements. Featured books and special treats will be distributed on June 21st at Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas from 12 to 3, and on June 21st also at the Sunny Isle Shopping Center in the Amphitheater on St. Croix from 1 to 5 p.m. and at the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority Housing Expo at the Sunshine Mall from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on June 22nd at the St. John Festival Food Fair from 1 to 5 p.m. Well, it was Jazz in Paradise with RC and Company at West Indian Company Community Concert on Tuesday on the dock. Familiar strains from Ron Criqui and his band, along with the Charlotte Motley High School Jazz Band, under the direction of Francis Callwood, and the concert choir, directed by Naomi Toussaint Williams, kept guests entertained throughout the evening. WICO's community concerts are free and are held on the third Tuesday of every month. They were initiated in 2013 in conjunction with the company's centennial celebration. The Caribbean Princess, Carnival Sunshine, and Carnival Freedom, they were all in port. All guests are always encouraged to bring their own chairs and hang out and enjoy the music. Well, whether you own your own home or looking to buy one, you'll want to check out the 2014 Housing Expo that's coming up. The Housing Finance Authority is celebrating 30 years, and this is the 4th expo they're hosting. The expo helps homeowners and home buyers acquire and maintain their homes. This year's theme is Go Green and Build Dreams.
We have asked a number of our partners to join with us. That includes the Energy Office, and where we will be providing a host of informative sessions and workshops on energy efficiency, and we'll be kicking off the day with an update on the propane project from the Water and Power Authority, as well as we're really proud to have Banco Popular, who's launching their first home club. In addition, we will be having a number of raffles that includes raffling energy efficiency appliances, washers and dryers from the Energy Office. And we have the regulars coming back at the Housing Expo with the Home Depot providing the kids workshop, as well as our financing and foreclosure prevention workshop.
Well, be sure to put that on the calendar. The first 50 people get prizes. On St. Croix, the expo will be held on Saturday, June 21st at Sunshine Mall, while the St. Thomas event will be Saturday, June 28th at UVI's Sports and Fitness Center. Both events run from 10 to 3. Well, the U.S. Small Business Administration will be offering some training under its Management and Technical Assistance Program to small firms in the U.S. Virgin Islands on Wednesday, June 25th, to help them better understand the federal contract negotiation and administration process, as well as GSA scheduled contracts and certification process. The program is available to 8 certified firms, small disadvantaged businesses, businesses operating in areas of high unemployment or low income, or firms owned by low-income individuals. The training is free of charge. It's from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the SBDC Training Center, which is 4100 Scion Farm Shopping Center, Christian said, St. Croix, with a live teleconference at the St. Thomas SBDC in Niski Center. Well, be sure to stick around. We have News 2 Sports, and we'd like to welcome back Monica Jonigan. We'll be right back.